You know, the tempo of the game. I think tonight is always a quick game here. This is a very, very slick surface. I notice the grass has been cut very, very short, and I would think that it's a much higher tempo game tonight.
Well, let's have a look at the team lineups then. A lot of speculation, and we can perhaps answer a few questions. No club spent more money on new players during the summer than Arsenal. £15 million on 7 newcomers, 3 of whom are in the lineup tonight. Frenchman Gilles Grimondet and Emmanuel Petit, and the Dutch international Mark Overmars. But Arsenal are without no fewer than 4 key defenders. Tony Adams, who's suspended, Lee Dixon and Martin Keown, both injured, and the latest casualty, Steve Bold, who hurt his back in the game at Leeds on Saturday.
Yes, I think that Arsene Wenger was quite clever last season not to change the tactics during the season. But obviously now personnel and tactics have changed. You can see there it's very much a back 4 in midfield. Despite the new signings, still the man for me, the most exciting player in the Premiership, is Ian Wright.
Well, Coventry City recruited 6 new players in the close season, but the only one who plays tonight is the Norwegian international Trond Egil Soltvedt, who's an attacking midfielder. The other newcomers are either injured, not yet match fit, or on the subs bench. And you must say, when everyone is available, Coventry will have their biggest squad for many years.
Well, there's quite a discussion about how Coventry are going to play. My feeling is, you know, that they may change to a back 4. I'd be quite concerned if Gary Breen was playing there in directness against Overmars. I knew Gary from my days at Birmingham. He was very, very reluctant to play in a right-back area, always wanted to play at the centre of the defence. Don't be surprised if he goes in alongside Williams, Burrows goes to left-back, and Shaw plays against Overmars. I think Shaw's got good pace, and he will be a match for Overmars. Therefore, you've got a midfield 4 then of Telfer, McAllister, Soltvedt, and Salako will push forward. My only concern then in the middle of that 4 is that McAllister and Soltvedt are very much offensive midfield players.
Well, every new season starts with hope and expectation for supporters up and down the country. And there's no difference here. Very different ambitions, though, for the followers of the 2 clubs in opposition tonight. Arsenal see themselves as genuine contenders for the Championship. Coventry, well, I think they're simply praying that they won't be yet again involved in another grueling battle to avoid relegation. There's hardly an empty seat in sight, of course. Highbury was filled to its 38,000 capacity for virtually every game last season, and tickets will be just as difficult to come by over the next 9 months.
Alan, I mentioned how important Ian Wright is to Arsenal, but I also think the signing of Overmars will prove to be a good signing. He'll need a little bit of time to settle in, but I was just reading Arsene Wenger's programme notes, and he made the point that he feels that they need a little bit more offensive power. Also with Overmars, he gives them that extra little bit of width. That was something he felt that was lacking last year. They didn't have a natural wide player.
It was exactly a year ago that Bruce Rioch closed the door on his manager's office at Highbury for the final time, and that great Arsenal servant Pat Rice came in to steady the ship for a few vital weeks until Arsene Wenger arrived to begin the new Arsenal revolution. Well, since then, 10 new players have been brought in, and remarkably, only one of them is an Englishman. Truly, Arsenal have undergone a quite dramatic change in the last 12 months. But the supporters here really do believe passionately that this is going to be their season. They're having a little trouble pronouncing some of the new names, perhaps, but they've seen enough in pre-season and at Leeds United on Saturday, those who travelled, to convince themselves that the squad now is of a higher quality, certainly numerically, that it's been for a long, long time. Arsenal finished 3rd last season, the highest since they won the Championship for the last time 6 years ago. And of course, last season saw them overtaken in the all-time honours list by Manchester United. United's title, their 4th in 5 years, was their 11th in all. Arsenal next on the list with 10. They're still all a long way behind the Reds from Anfield, who have 18 championships. Do we think, Trevor, that Arsenal now have the squad to win the supreme prize?
Well, I have my doubts. I think it's vitally important that they get Adams back as quickly as possible. I think looking at the side, midfield and up front, there's a lot of flair, a lot of adventure there. I think they will score goals. But I think all championship sides are built around a strong foundation, a strong back four, and I don't quite see that at the moment. Missing are Dixon, Bode, Adams. They're vitally important players, despite the fact they're getting on in age. I think if they were fit tonight, they would be in the starting lineup. The players like Dublin and Huckabee, I would think they'll be encouraged, obviously after winning on Saturday against Chelsea, but to see a back four consisting of Gard, Grimondi, Marshall and Winterburn.
Yes, news on those players. Tony Adams, as we've mentioned, suspended for the first 2 games of the season, so he can play in the next match, which is a while away now, of course, because of the international fixtures. It'll be at Southampton on Saturday week. Lee Dixon has had a couple of reserve games. He had an ankle operation at the back end of last season. He's almost fit again. And I was talking to Martin Keown, who you remember dislocated his shoulder in Le Tournoi, playing for England in France last May. Well, he has been training, and he reckons he's about a month away from returning to the squad himself. So when they are all fit and available and in good form, it's a formidable squad that Arsenal have. One thing Monday Night Football does is give other managers the opportunity to come along and have a first-hand look at some of their opponents. The West Ham duo of Harry Redknapp and Frank Lampard, and Mick McCarthy, the Republic of Ireland manager, enjoying the warm weather. I'm not sure the players will, but as I said, at least it's quite a few degrees cooler than it was on Saturday and Sunday afternoon. David Seaman leads Arsenal tonight, in the absence, of course, of Tony Adams and Steve Bold, who was skipper at Ellen Road on Saturday. Emmanuel Petit, one of the new men, with the long blonde hair in the ponytail there, and young Scott Marshall wearing 25, who is Bold's replacement tonight. So a new era beginning for one of the game's most famous clubs. The French connection has taken root in North London, and Arsenal are ready to challenge for the title once again. But Coventry have already upset one of London's big spenders this weekend, and they're geared up to cause another upset tonight. Stay with us for Arsenal against Coventry.
It's the full 4.3% Irish, new hop Irish lager.
So what's your other half doing tonight?
Sort of a 9 to 5 job.
Monday Night Football from Sky Sports from Highbury in North London. Arsenal against Coventry City. Our match commentators Trevor Francis and Alan Parrott.
Well, for so many years, Highbury, which you can see from our airship high above the ground, has stood for history and tradition. But now Arsenal Football Club are very much at the forefront of the new continental age of British football. And just 4 of tonight's Arsenal team were actually born in England. The rest a mixture of Frenchmen, Dutchmen and a young Scotsman in Scott Marshall. And Arsene Wenger's influence is there for all to see now. Not only the personnel, but the manner of Arsenal's football has changed under this shrewd, intelligent man. And I think we all agree that Arsenal are a much more entertaining team to watch these days. But equally, it is true in football, no matter how much you entertain, supporters demand only one thing, and that is success. And George Graham brought that by the trophyful. And that's the measure of the task that faces Wenger as Arsenal kick off a new season here at Highbury to great noise. Arsenal in red and white, of course, Coventry City in the sky blue and navy blue stripes. The referee tonight is from Mid Glamorgan in Wales, Mr. Keith Burge. It hardly needs saying that pitches at this stage of the season are in beautiful condition, but Highbury's has to be one of the best of all. Emmanuel Petit, the first touch for him in front of his new supporters. And Ian Wright making sure he got a second pretty quickly. Rémi Garde, one of the 4 Frenchmen in tonight's Arsenal lineup. Made, well, less than a dozen appearances altogether last season. Had a few injury problems, so the Arsenal fans never really got to see the best of him. He can play in defence or midfield. And here's another new man, Grimande Vieira, who broke through, came on for the first time in our live match on the Monday night against Sheffield Wednesday, and had a marvellous first season. Now Coventry break for the first time with Solarco down the left, but it didn't last long, that Coventry attack. Good header away by Williams. Vieira finding Winterburn. And now Overmars. He's going to excite, that's for sure. Petit. Bright, Bergkamp.
Well, that was certainly good awareness there from Ian Wright. Knew exactly where his partner was, Dennis Bergkamp. Allowed it to run between his legs. His shot not on target, but that's the first little warning for Coventry. Just a word about the tactics. He was spot on where we thought Arsenal would play. Coventry are playing with a back 4 and not a back 3. But at the moment, it is Gary Breen who's playing in a right-back position, and it looks as if Shaw is going to stick tight to Ian Wright.
Petit with a loose ball straight to Solarco. He has Huckabee ahead of him. Dublin just getting into the Arsenal penalty area now. Good challenge by Rémi Garde. Solarco can deliver these long throws a prodigious distance, and that led to one of Coventry's goals scored by Dion Dublin on Saturday. Vieira was aware of that fact and got in the clearing header. Good covering by Shaw. Burrows went in hard with Wright there. It was a dangerous looking tackle from Wright, and Burrows is still down injured. That might be quite a nasty injury as well. Players continued with Bergkamp. Couldn't quite thread it through to Overmars. Burrows is back on his feet, I'm happy to say now. So Coventry back to their full complement. But it looked a little reckless, that challenge from Wright. That was lovely skill by the same player. McAllister under pressure from Vieira, gets it back from Saltbet. Those two have formed an immediate understanding in the centre of Coventry's midfield. Now McAllister is down injured. Overmars trying to get in behind Breen, who seemed to at least stand in his way. Although the award not as bad as it might have been from Coventry's point of view.
Yes, I think Mr. Birds didn't see that as an intentional foul. I think it was more clumsiness than anything.
And they've got away with just a throw-in. Well, that's how bad that challenge from Wright was. It's caught him under the chin. Can't get a lot higher than that.
And if the referee spots that, he'll have to go off for attention.
Yes, that's one of the new instructions to referees this season. Players who have a wound that's bleeding like that must leave the field. Overmars. Marshall. Sets one up for Petit. Got a sweet left foot. It was Shaw who blocked that shot.
Well, I'll take your word for it, Alan. He's got a sweet left foot. What I do know, though, he's got to be closed down much quicker than that.
We'll have another look at that right tackle here.
Well, for me, that was a 50-50 challenge, and I'm pleased that both of them have come out of it without too much of a problem.
Here's Breen. Williams. What a good ball that was. Solako on the left. Well, he misjudged the bounce. Wright trying to get in behind Williams, but he's big and strong and won't be brushed aside. What was Wright doing then? Sometimes his enthusiasm gets the better of him, but he's got a free kick.
No, I think that was a foul committed by Williams on Wright. Just have a little look at this. There's no intention to play the ball. Just charges into Ian Wright, and he wins Arsenal a free kick in a very, very dangerous position.
Now Adams, no bowl to cause an aerial threat, but there's still problems for Coventry here. Vieira and Scott Marshall amongst them. Marshall just beaten to the header by Breen. First corner of the game to Arsenal. Grisovic thought about that and hesitated. It's come out to Bergkamp. Ray Parler. Wide to Winterburn. He has Overmars in position on the left flank. Huckabee closed him down quickly. Now Petit. What a good ball. Got the second one from Parler. A little untidy. Fast and furious start, Trevor.
As you would expect, Alan. Higher tempo than what it was on Saturday. I mentioned that before due to the weather conditions. Very, very hot on Saturday. Still hot today, of course, but we don't have that burning sun as we had it kick-off time at 3 o'clock on Saturday.
Gary McAllister, who admitted he could have done more in his first season at Coventry, fell below his own high standards, but still, in fact, managed to play in every game. And Steve Grisovic still #1 choice at Highfield Road. Here's Williams. Clearance by Guard. Vieira, who had an ankle injury which forced him to come off at Leeds on Saturday, but hasn't kept him out tonight. Now McAllister. Offside, Darren Huckabee.
Well, that's going to be a feature of the game tonight. Huckabee looking for that ball in behind the back four. This must have been pretty tight. Well, it was tight, wasn't it?
Telfer, Huckabee again. Foul by Marshall, Coventry's free kick. McAllister took it rather too quickly and the ball was rolling, in fact, so he's got to come back again. Well, there's no doubt who the big threat is here. The hat-trick man from Saturday, Dion Dublin, the likely target for McAllister. And he found him. It looks as though Vieira's been the man deployed to watch Dublin at set pieces.
Yeah, I'm just going to mention that. That's interesting, that neither of the centre-halves, Grimondi and Marshall, have been elected to take Dion Dublin. Does that tell you something about them in the air, perhaps?
Certainly Arsenal will be concerned at the loss of their tall, commanding central defenders like Adams and Bold against a man who is so good in the air as Dion Dublin. Petit, there's one for Wright to chase. Shaw had to take the decision then, and it was a good one. Very consistent season last time round, missed only a handful of games, in fact.
Once again, intelligent play from Petit, saw the space in behind Shaw, tried to get it there for Ian Wright.
Winterburn whips over a dangerous ball, Breen did well. Bergkamp. Patrick Vieira. Breen first to it again, but here's Overmars. Good challenge from Williams. It's been a good start by Arsenal. Here's Bergkamp. Overmars on the right foot, stronger on the left, although he is a naturally two-footed player.
Well, it was beautifully set up, wasn't it, by Dennis Bergkamp? And not well struck by Overmars. Just invited Dennis Bergkamp, 2 players to him, just played into the path of Overmars. But no real power behind the shot.
Here's Telfer. The interception by Grimondi. But he was caught in possession then. McAllister given away to Parler. That's good football by Coventry. McAllister for them. Easy clearance for Marshall.
You mentioned that Grimondi got caught in possession. I think that's the most difficult thing for foreign players coming into our game. They can never quite come to terms with the pace of the game. And I think that was quite evident there. Grimondi wanted so much time on the ball, he's just not going to get it.
Yes, even the likes of Dennis Bergkamp, who's played, of course, at the very highest level, World Cups and European Cups, admitted that it took him a long time to readjust to the exceptional pace of the English game. And Grimondi's going to take some time to learn the same problems. Here is Bergkamp. What a good ball that was. Vieira. Right. Coventry defending deep, but defending well. Overmars. Petit. Vieira. They keep the flow going. Here's Parler. Vieira. McAllister's interception, and then excellent skill to find Dion Dublin. There's one for Telfer to chase, and he can run all day. The fittest player in Coventry's squad. And he forced David Seaman into the hurried clearance, although he never seems to do anything in a hurry. David Seaman, very cool customer. Emmanuel Petit. And Wright looking for another free kick, but this time it's gone against him. Such a confrontational character, Ian Wright, that he seems to be always involved in the next controversial moment.
Yes, he just lost his balance slightly there, always falling backwards, and I think eventually he actually handles the ball. The referee gives a free kick against him for handling the ball. There you see it, his left arm coming out.
Emmanuel Petit has pleased the Arsenal fans with his early contribution. And a stoppage as the referee having a word with Breen about something.
I would think there's blood on his face, Alan. You can't see it from the back of him, but that's my guess. Turn around, Gary, let's have a look.
But he didn't notice David Burrows bleeding from the chin, but he has noticed Gary Breen's injury. Well, Coventry players are used to a bit of blood being spilt at Highbury. Steve Agrisovich broke his nose in a challenge against Ian Wright here last season, a game which finished in a 0-0 draw. In fact, it was Arsene Wenger's first game at Highbury since taking over, and that draw meant that Arsenal went to the top of the table for the first time in 4 years.
You see there, Alan, Breen's off the field. What's to stop one of the Arsenal players going to tell the referee that Burrows has got blood on his face and they're down to 9 men? That's gamesmanship, or whatever you want to call it, but it's part of the game.
Certainly is. Anyway, they're back to 11, and Williams is in possession for Coventry. Oh, there was a total slip then by Grimondi. He was rather fortunate to get away with that. Petit, right, good football. But the ball from Petit overhit.
Well, the opening 15 minutes, I'm very impressed with this lad in midfield. He's getting a lot of space. He needs to be closed down much quicker. But he looks quality. That's more than what I can say for one or two of the back players at the moment in the Arsenal defence. They don't look that comfortable.
Arsenal lost only 4 times at Highbury last season, but 3 of them were against their championship rivals Manchester United, Newcastle and Liverpool, and that in the end was sufficient to see their challenge fade. Offside here against Huckabee. 15 minutes gone, no goals, but Arsenal on the attack with Overmars. Wright comes away to the penalty spot, the shot by Bergkamp on the volley. Almost a replay of his earlier effort, just as wide.
Well, there was so much space here to exploit. Breen had come out of the right back hole, left it completely vacant. McAllister's never going to get near Overmars. Little pullback. Not easy for Bergkamp on the volley. Dregs it wide.
Scored 14 last season, and only Ian Wright managed more than that for Arsenal. Gard and Vieira combining impressively. Now Wright lets it run on. I think he did anyway, deliberately, but Breen read the intention. Now Shaw. It's one of the narrowest pitches. In fact, I think it is the narrowest pitch in the Premiership here at Arsenal, and sometimes that lack of width conspires against Arsenal as well as their opponents. And here's a man who likes plenty of width, John Solaka, one of the most exciting players in the game in his Crystal Palace days, then had 2 years out, of course, with an injury that seemed likely to finish his career completely. He's come back well with Coventry. Vieira just got caught between his feet. Saltvet gets it back, and now Telfer for Coventry. Breen. McAllister. Here's Saltvet. He was a little untidy. But he looks strong as well as a good technical footballer. Bergkamp. Vieira. And this kick. The tackle wins it back. But Parla. Oh, it's a good run by Parla. And couldn't quite pull it back for Ian Wright on the penalty spot. Saltvet concedes the corner.
It was a good run that by Parla. His intentions were to power into that penalty box, and the Coventry defenders had to be careful. Once he gets into the 18-yard box, just a little touch, and it would have been a penalty. They didn't commit themselves.
And a free header for Marshall.
Well, that was a good chance. I think it was Williams who was late coming to Marshall, never got near him. Free header, should have hit the target.
And now he's at the other end defending. And almost conceded the corner. In fact, I think he has.
Yes, I think you're right, Alan. It was the pace of Huckabee that put him under pressure. Didn't give it up. Forced him to concede a corner. And as we've seen over recent games, the back end of last season especially, Dion Dublin very, very dangerous at that near post.
And indeed against Arsenal at Highfield Road towards the back end of last season when he scored. But again, it's Patrick Vieira who beats him to it, and indeed was fouled by Dublin. Well, so far, Dion Dublin has met his match aerially against Patrick Vieira.
Yes, he does well there, Vieira. It's a good defensive job. I'm not so sure if Boulder Adams had been playing, whether he'd be still marking Dublin, but certainly for his team, he's doing an excellent job on set pieces.
There's Burrows. Williams. Arsenal have it back though. Bergkamp. Wright has made an early run, and here he is. Oh, that was a vital interception by Shaw.
Once again, good linking up from the front two. Bergkamp just waits for Wright. He pulls off the back of Shaw. Just doesn't quite give it enough, but good defending from Shaw.
Another corner causing a problem to Coventry. And still, but the final header by Grimondi was rather weak and off target. Came from Arsene Wenger's former club Monaco for £2 million. Had a bit of a shaky start at Leeds on Saturday, and in fact was also cautioned, one of 4 Arsenal players to be shown the yellow card. They were all Frenchmen. So referees have to be linguists as well these days. A lot of early pressure then by Arsenal, but it's Coventry who have the free kick. Telfer in possession. Green. Winterburn angles it forward to Petit. Bergkamp to one side, right to the other. Overmars was claiming he was obstructed from getting into a forward position there, and the fans certainly feel that was the case.
Well, you do feel that the Coventry defenders are contributing to their own problems, continually losing the ball in possession in deep areas. On this occasion it was Gary Breen who gave it away unnecessarily.
Salako relieves a little of the pressure and gets it back from that misplaced header by Marshall. Arsenal squeezing up to try and force an offside. They've done better than that. They're on the attack themselves, and Williams concedes the throw. Returned very fit, I'm told, Paul Williams, and he's just signed a new 3-year contract. It was his goal at Tottenham on the final day of last season that ensured yet another season in the top flight for Coventry. But it was nearly his mistake then that led to Bergkamp sneaking in. And the referee didn't like the way Bergkamp tried to impede Steve Agricevic.
Loggie's probably saying he makes a change from Ian Wright, normally giving him hassle. History of problems, of course, of Agricevic and Ian Wright. He broke his nose, didn't he, last time he played here?
He did. Right. Did well. Winterburn. Overmars. Does love to come in field on his right foot whenever he can. Grimondi. And now Remy Gard. Well, it's all getting a bit congested in midfield, and Arsenal not really getting anywhere at the moment. Good control from Burrows. And he knocks it forward, only to find Huckabee offside again. He's got to watch that. That must be 3 times now he's been caught. Guard. Williams for Coventry. McAllister just calms it down. Now Saltbet. It's a nice ball for Salako. On to Huckabee, whose control was disappointing then. Overmars finding Petit. The crowd warned him the challenge was coming in, but Telfer beat him to it anyway. Now McAllister. He has Huckabee to his right. And that's a corner, and it all came about because Petit was caught napping.
Yes, once again, that was another example of a foreign player just wanting a little bit too much time on the ball. He's complaining, blaming his teammates. We should know he can't have that much time in midfield.
Williams has joined Dublin inside the 6-yard box for Coventry now, and Breen on the near post. But Seaman makes an impressive, albeit rather straightforward catch, but nothing straightforward about the throw. Superbly accurate to release Bergkamp. Right. It's a good ball, just kept in by Parler, and there was no one sufficiently well advanced to take advantage of the cross.
Great play that by Ian Wright, inside the full-back to Parler.
Bergkamp, Winterburn. This is Petit. Now Vieira. Gal. Strange sort of cross that was. Salako caught in possession, but the referee's whistle comes to Coventry's rescue. They get a free kick. 26 minutes gone, and no real test for either goalkeeper as yet. Burrows. Dublin beaten to it by Marshall this time. And it's all a little too frantic at the moment. Well, these players have been training and indeed playing pre-season matches in stiflingly hot conditions. I expect they're enjoying the freedom, so to speak, of playing on a relatively cool evening. And it's making the game that bit quicker at the moment and accordingly untidy. Petit finds Winterburn. The Frenchman again picks out Bergkamp. Well, you could see what he was trying, but it didn't quite come off. Grisovic fully aware of the rule about not holding on to the ball for longer than a maximum 6 seconds. Winterburn. Petit goes back to Marshall. Guard did well then. It looked as though Salako was going to intercept. And now Parler does intercept for Arsenal. Plenty of men forward here. And he decided to try the shot, which deflects for a corner.
Once again, an opportunity for Arsenal. Ball easily given away by Shaw unnecessarily.
Five corners for Arsenal so far, and they might well have scored from one of them. And Marshall's there again! How did that stay out? The crowd were on their feet, celebrating what they thought was a goal. As Bergkamp sets up Vieira! Great save, but who else but Ian Wright is there to convert it and score Highbury's first goal of the season, and his second already.
Well, it must go down as a goalkeeping error. Grisovic gets down, lets it out of his grasp, and you just don't do that when that man Ian Wright's around. It's a good shot from Vieira. I've said on a few occasions the two central midfield players, Petit and Vieira, they've far too much room. It's not closed down quickly enough, gets his shot in. Wright's there, 1-0 to Arsenal.
And Cliff Bastin's club record edges a little closer. He now needs just 2 to equal the finest goal scorer in Arsenal's long and distinguished history. What a record. That in fact is goal number 176 for Ian Wright since he came to Highbury. Here's Remy Gard. The linesman has flagged here. Referee may not have noticed him. I'm not sure whether he's wired up with that new device that enables linesmen to warn referees that they flagged.
Well, the goal came about, Alan, after a little bit of sustained pressure from Arsenal. Started with a short corner, which Guard put a good ball in. And once again, it was Marshall who got his head to it first with a magnificent header. I thought it was in the back of the net. It hit the post, could have gone in, it came out. But that wasn't the end of the story for Coventry. They couldn't clear their lines. There's that man Ian Wright, once again, puts Arsenal into the lead.
And they're buzzing now. And here he is again. Good tackle by Shaw. It's a corner. The effervescent Ian Wright is in the mood for goals. Well, George Gavin almost half-jokingly suggested if he got a hat-trick tonight, that would be a pretty typical Ian Wright way of equaling that record. You never know. He's on his way. Petit. Grimaldi gets up but is beaten by Breen. Overmars keeps possession, and now Bergkamp. Oh, that was a brilliant effort by the Dutchman. Quite brilliant.
Marvellous skill this from Dennis Bergkamp. Brings it down his chest, left foot volley. You see how close that was. Certainly had Grizovic scrambling across his goal. Just doesn't come down quite quickly enough. Marvellous effort.
Supreme example of Bergkamp's technique. Williams with a free kick for Coventry City. Telfer coming in on the far post. That's a good header. And Seaman stretches to keep it away as Dion Dublin almost made contact in front of him.
It's actually, Alan, it wouldn't have counted because the linesman had flagged for offside. Referee acknowledged it. Ball was in possession of Seaman, so he allowed advantage rule.
He hasn't flagged here, and Seaman again reacts so quickly. Ian Wright has gone off the pitch for the moment. I understand he's somehow got a crack over or maybe even on his right eye. Gary Lewin just tending to that. Bergkamp. Dear, that challenge was questionable from Telfer. Neither the linesman nor the referee saw anything wrong. And Ian Wright's ready to return. You have been warned, Coventry City. Williams. Saltbeck. Huckabee. Cleared by Grimaldi. Bergkamp's all on his own at the moment with 30-odd thousand whistlers trying to draw the referee's attention to Ian Wright, who's ready to return. Nine-goal attempts for Arsenal, one of them successful, none at all yet for Coventry. Good ball from Guard. Right. Bergkamp well placed in the middle. He did the correct thing though. That was the best option, I'm sure.
It was a good ball from Guard, but even better was the run of Ian Wright. Pulled into that right wing position, got away from Williams. A lot to admire in that movement there, Ian Wright.
Well, they've got to keep a very close eye on Scott Marshall here. He's twice been close to scoring from corners. Dublin's clearance this time. Marshall did get a foot to it. Winterburn. Coventry can't get out of their own half at the moment. Can't get away from the edge of their own box, indeed. And they're looking edgy and nervous. Small wonder. And whenever it's cleared, it comes straight back again. Having a bit of a torrid time of it here, Coventry. Wright has been deemed offside.
Well, of all the goals Ian Wright scored, Alan, that won't go down as one of the greatest goals. By his standards, a rather simple one. But when you look at all the players on the field, some 22 players, it's the one who reacts quickest. And that happens so often when it's Ian Wright. He just got that instinct that it was going to come back off the keeper, and like all good strikers, he made sure he followed it in the hope that Agrizovic would drop it. That's what he did. And through going in there, he's got the reward of a goal.
Overmars, Petit. Wright, good ball. Telfer got across to cover and was then tripped by Petit, who proffers his apologies. Mindful of the fact, no doubt, he was yellow carded on Saturday. Better to get your apologies in before the card comes out. Well, Arsenal have really totally dominated this first half. And although it took them a while to start testing Agrizovic, test him they did with a vengeance. And here's the man who beat it. Petit took up an intelligent position then. Almost a good ball inside the defender for Overmars, but Green read the danger. There's a sloppy ball. Burrows had to rescue things there. Now Solarco, they need him to operate effectively now. It's one of the few times in the last 10 minutes they've got into Arsenal territory. He's got to at least keep it. He's done better than that. He's done superbly over the head of Saltvet. Now McAllister. Winterburn kept at him, and that was enough.
Well, McAllister did his absolute best there. Surely one of his teammates could have gone to the near post. He was under pressure, he couldn't do anything else but get it to the near post. There's no reaction from one of his colleagues.
Meantime, the referee's given Arsenal a free kick for a foul on Ian Wright. It's a good ball by him, and he was caught by Shaw from behind, and the Coventry player will become the first caution of the game.
Well, there isn't much doubt about this. Goes down the back of his leg, straight in from the referee.
Well, as I mentioned earlier, whatever's going on, it seems to involve Ian Wright. And he goes right into the thick of it again, where all the blue shirts are. He and Shaw, ex-teammates, of course, from their Crystal Palace days. Good ball whipped in by Bergkamp. Oh, it was terrible loose marking again by Coventry, allowing Marshall to steal round the back and get in another header.
Well, there's a lovely flighted ball in from Bergkamp. Not too sure about the marking. There's a big hole there, which Marshall exploits. Look at Dublin, he's not happy about it. Marshall from centre half could have had a hat-trick of headers in this first half.
Absolutely, and he's only ever scored one senior goal for Arsenal. Hasn't had that many appearances, only 20-odd over the years, because of the consistency of the likes of Bold and Adams and Linnigan before them, of course. Keown, very strong position that's always been for Arsenal's central defence. And they've got another outstanding young player as well in Matthew Upson, one of the substitutes tonight. has given it away to Solarco, who gets it back from Dublin. Looking for Huckabee in the centre. Marshall's header was a bit of an awkward one. Huckabee's there and couldn't quite force his way through. And looked suspiciously like he might have used his arm. And there he is again, Ian Wright, once again involved.
Well, at the other end, I'm sure that Marshall, with that sort of defender, must have given Wenger a heart attack, because Huckabee's almost in here for the goal. Just gets his foot to it, it comes off his chest into the hands of Seaman. A little bit fortunate to get away with this. That's what they're complaining about, the Arsenal defenders. That was a handball. And obviously on the blind side of the linesman, the referee could easily have got away with it.
Well, Scott Marshall has had an eventful half. This was that thundering header. You can see there's a reaction of the supporters behind the goal. They all had their arms in the air. They thought it had gone in. Eventually, it did.
It was actually the Norwegian Saltvedt who hooked it away off the line. It's not the end of the story, is it? Never is when Ian Wright's around.
Well, he's been in the wars, but he's back on his feet. And if there are goals to be had, you won't get him off the field easily. And here he goes again, tearing in on Breen. Well, I don't know what he's on, but I'll have a pint of it. He's 33. He tears around like an 18-year-old who's just been given his debut. He's a quite incredible character, Ian Wright. Look how congested the midfield is, but McAllister's found a route through it. And then gives it straight to Winterburn. Here's Overmars. He might be made to pay for that, Gary McAllister. But the ball by Overmars was a poor one. Well, the season's in full swing now, all right. And in 24 hours' time, we bring you another top match from the first round of the Coca-Cola Cup. In fact, it's Queen's Park Rangers against Wolves, two of the biggest teams in the First Division, meeting in that tie, exclusively live. Two minutes and a half remaining. Arsenal deservedly ahead, and really could and should have been more comfortably in the lead. Marshall thought about delivering the long ball, thought better of it. Burrow's clearance. Now McAllister for Coventry. Saltvedt dispossessed. And that could be fatal, but Shaw made a good interception against Bergkamp. Telfer. Breen angling one forward for Huckabee. Marshall has had a steady, solid game at the back. And a pretty spectacular game when he's gone forward. McAllister. Marshall again. Bergkamp. This is Petit. Given away to Telfer. McAllister sees Solarco unmarked out on the left. And the guard just stood his ground. Huckabee couldn't quite reach it. Cremondi in first. Now Ian Wright. Good ball for Bergkamp. And Wright thundering down the middle. And Bergkamp spotted him. So did Breen. But the ground that Ian Wright made up then, incredible.
Well, the partnership between Wright and Bergkamp gets better by every game. Once again, great link-up play. Bergkamp just waiting for Wright to get into position. Good defending though by Breen. Followed Wright all the way.
It can't be 33. It must have been a mistake. Sloppy clearance from Breen, straight to Marshall. Bergkamp. Parler. Well, there's no way through, but he's kept possession. Bergkamp. It was a clever touch again by Bergkamp, didn't quite come off.
Oh, it was a great idea, but the surface here is so quick. It's never going to stay in play. I would think that Coventry now will be glad to hear this half-time interval, because for me they've got to change one or two things. I think in the midfield, Vieira and Petit have run the show. We've got to try something different there.
What a touch there from Bergkamp to Vieira, and on to Wright. Bergkamp got a clattering for his skill there. Vieira almost got a touch to Wright's cross. Arsenal almost ended the half with a second goal. And in fact, I think that might be the end of the half. The players seem a bit confused as to whether the whistle is for a goal kick or... No, in fact, I'll tell you what he has done. That's good refereeing. He allowed play to go on. He is now pulling out Williams, I think it was, for the challenge on Bergkamp that left him on the deck, and he's shown him the yellow card.
Well, this is typical of the first half. Another surging run by an Arsenal central midfield player. Vieira releases Wright, tries to get the return.
Long ball for Huckabee to chase. Calm defending there by Grimandi, but then Guard gives the ball away. One back well by Petit. Overmars tried to trick Gary Breen and still could. Petit now has given it away. And the half-time whistle will be sweet music to the ears of Coventry City's players, who've chased, harried, run and fought. Really what's been a losing battle for most of this first half. They thought they'd survived here when that Marshall shot hit the inside of the post, or header rather, hit the inside of the post and was cleared by Saltbet, but retribution was only seconds away. Vieira's shot, Grishovic couldn't hold it. The last man you want to see coming into the 6-yard box is that man. Ian Wright has given Arsenal the lead at Highbury. It's 1-0 at half-time.
Richard, obviously the same team played a different system on Saturday, so it might well be that Gordon changes his system a bit. But he might, as I say, he might take 10 minutes to have a little look at how it's going, to see if his team are performing a little bit better. And this is where it's fascinating when you think about the managers, because for Arsene Wenger, it must be, I've just sat down and said, okay lads, wonderful, we've got the breakthrough, same again. That's all he would have been saying, same again. But let's be careful at the back. I think he'll know they looked a little edgy at the back.
A lot of new faces, and we talked at the start about how they might take time to settle. Alex Ferguson has said the same as well. So if you're an Arsenal fan sitting in there in that North Bank right now, how do you feel? Not about this, but in general.
Pleased. I think people I've seen, Overmars has got quality and ability, and he'll eventually, even if there's another quiet game, will come good. But I think the one Petit in the middle of midfield, I think he's been really impressive. He's been assured, he's been dominant, he's been assertive. He's always looking for the ball. That will have pleased him. I'm not so sure about Grimandi. I've not seen enough of him tonight to assess how good he is as a centre-back. Whether he's actually going to be a centre-back, we don't know yet, Richard. I think until all Arsene Wenger's players are fit, we're not going to know his first lineup.
We'll open the man of the match lines midway through this second half. Remember, you can win tonight a replica jersey of the man of the match, so it's worth taking part this evening. That later. Right now, the second half of Arsenal against Coventry with Trevor Francis and Alan Parry.
Thanks, Richard. Welcome back to Highbury. Neither manager seems to have decided on any tactical or at least personnel changes during the half-time interval, so the same two 11s line up for the start of the second half. Coventry do have a couple of options. They've got Kyle Lightbourne, striker they bought from Walsall in the close season, on the bench. if they need to change things round up front. Marcus Hall, a wing-back, Willie Boland, the midfield player. Kevin Richardson, of course, a former Arsenal favourite. Arsenal, I'm quite sure they will be content to leave things just as they are.
Yeah, just keep your eye, Alan, on Petit in midfield. He's got a heavy strapping on his right leg. As he went off half-time, he took his shin pads out. He was limping heavily. We'll just see how he goes in the first few minutes. He may just have a problem there.
And certainly on their bench, Arsenal have got a couple of ready-made replacements if Petit is struggling, in Stephen Hughes and, of course, David Platt.
Actually, as we talk, David Platt is now warming up.
And Ian Wright warming up for another goal attempt then, but beaten to it by Williams this time. Saltet, Salako, Burrows, and the referee has signalled a free kick to Coventry for that challenge on David Burrows. Let's quickly call in George Gavin, who I think knows a little bit about the problem that Petit has, George.
No, not Petit, actually, Alan. It's David Burrows and Gary Breen. They both need stitches at the end of the match.
So we've got problems all round, because Petit certainly is struggling with that heavily strapped thigh, and two Coventry players, as you've just heard, needing attention when it's all over. Is Shaw. Oh, he's given it away to Wright. Surely he'll punish him. There was never any doubt. You do not present the ball to this guy. And he knows it.
Well, so early at the start of the second half, that's an absolute disaster for Coventry. Shaw is put under pressure from Wright, tries to give it back to Grizovic, doesn't get enough on it. And that's real coolness from Ian Wright once again. Just picks his spot. Just has a little look at Grizovic, slots it down his left-hand side. Cool, great finish once again.
What superlatives are left to describe this man? 3 goals already this season. And I would say, well, the scoreboard have said it for me. 2 to go to beat the club record. And you would not put a penny against him doing it tonight. You really wouldn't. We saw him score a hat-trick here against Sheffield Wednesday in a Monday night match early on last season. Well, he's in the mood now. He's got 2 already. And another good bet is him ending up leading scorer again. And the ball almost dropped towards him here, and Grizovic threw himself at the feet of Bergkamp to stop him scoring. Ian Wright was ready should it rebound out.
Well, it's another great chance for Arsenal. Bergkamp really should have scored, just lifts it over the advancing of Grizovic. But it was all set up from a run from Overmars. That's something we didn't see in the first half. We couldn't understand why he didn't have a little go at Gary Breen. The start of the second half, his intentions are solely different. He attacks him at pace, gets in between him and Telfer, sets it up for Bergkamp, and it should have been 3-0.
And in view of the second goal, Arsene Wenger feels that he can now not be bothered about taking any further risk with Emmanuel Petit's injury. David Platt is on in his place. And I just wonder if it might be his final appearance for Arsenal at Highbury. Brian Robson of Middlesbrough will be hoping it is. Arsene Wenger has gone on record as saying he wants him to stay. Well, what a start to the second half for Arsenal. And what a disastrous error by Shaw. Here's Parler. Wright loses out for once to Telfer's tackle. Well, Wright will be eager to get on the end of everything now. He makes reasonably difficult chances look absolutely routine, doesn't he?
Well, I was going to say, Alan, that second goal was taken with nonchalant ease. I've seen many forwards in that position either hit the goalkeeper or put it wide of the far post. There was never any doubt in anyone's mind at this ground here this evening that Ian Wright was not going to score.
Goal number 177 in his 6 seasons. This is the start of his 7th as an Arsenal hero. And believe me, he is to these supporters here. There's no player that gets a bigger cheer when his name is read over the public address system or when he comes out for his pre-match warm-up than Ian Wright. Telford trying to make progress, and now Huckabee for Coventry. Returns it to him. In the middle is Dublin, and well, on Saturday against Chelsea that probably would have gone in.
And I think if Dublin sees that again, he'll probably say it should have gone in. It was a tremendous cross from Telford. Seaman comes for it, he can't get there. And I think Dublin really expected the central defender to have got a header in. I think the fact that he didn't get a touch to it really unsettled Dublin. He should have scored there.
David Platt gets his first touch. Barlow goes down, Arsenal get a free kick. Our man in the medical room, George Gavin, can bring us the latest bulletin.
Yes, Alan, Emmanuel Petit has a groin strain, picked up in the first half. They gave it a try in the second half, but he signalled he had to come off with that injury. That's why David Platt is on. And just to finish off about David Burrows and Gary Breen, they both picked up facial injuries in the first half. They will need stitches, but not till the end of the match.
Thanks, George. Platt's header keeps the pressure on Coventry, cleared by Huckabee and now Dublin. And the fact that Huckabee and Dublin are back on the edge of their own box just tells you what kind of pressure Arsenal are exerting here. Steve Grisovic, a perfectionist, will blame himself, I'm sure, for the first goal. Could do absolutely nothing about Ian Wright's second. Wright battling for every ball. But Coventry win it back. Huckabee finding Dion Dublin. And Telford couldn't keep it in play. And it's still, in fact, more than ever, one-way traffic. And suddenly the glory of an opening day victory against the highly fancied Chelsea seems a distant memory for Coventry. We can't pick this up, Grisovic did well. Now Breen. Well, Coventry made an absolutely dreadful start last season. I remember it was 6 matches before their first win. They had only 1 victory in the first 16, and by the start of December they were 1 place off the bottom with 1 win, 7 draws and 8 defeats. Strachan turned things around marvellously towards the end of the season to keep them in the top division. But he doesn't fool himself, he's an absolute realist. Despite Saturday's win, he knows it's going to be another long, hard season, Trevor.
Yes, I would think with some 35 minutes to go, Gordon Strachan is now considering all options. He realises at the moment they're second best in all departments.
Certainly second best to this man. He doesn't want to get himself involved in any nonsense to spoil what's been a brilliant night for him so far. Danger threatens again to Coventry from another Arsenal corner. Breen dealt with the danger. Guard. Clever ball. Shaw getting it away before Bergkamp could cause problems.
What I was going to say, Alan, is that obviously he's got to try and get the team back into the game now. But if he does try and loosen it by bringing on perhaps another midfielder, another attacker, he could find himself on the end of a hammering here because Arsenal was so dominant.
Telford had his shirt tugged, and I thought by Vieira. So did the referee. Williams looking for Solarco, but they can't be that wasteful. Solarco applauds the intent, but well, and it's difficult enough to gain possession. You can't waste it.
I would have thought the better option would have been a straight ball to Dublin. So effective with flick-ons rather than playing into a wide area for Solarco.
Parla turns it over the defenders. Wright is onto it. Burrows' clearance. There's a real eagerness about Arsenal's play now. Bergkamp. Oh, a very deliberate, measured little chip there by Bergkamp.
Well, he just waltzes his way through this Coventry midfield. Nobody looks like putting in a tackle. McAllister, half-hearted attempt. He realises he's going to go all the way with a shot. And this is the error, isn't it, from Shaw. Presents it to Ian Wright. You just can't present this man with those sort of chances.
Parla finds Wright again. Plays it off almost reluctantly to Overmars. It's a decent ball in by the Dutch winger who keeps threatening to cause problems in this game. And I'm sure we'll see a great deal more of him over the season when he's adjusted himself to the pace and the new surroundings and the new teammates. Arsenal have been so much sharper in every aspect of the game tonight. That's not a bad ball for Solarco, though. Coventry try and get back into the picture here. Well played, Solarco. But when he delivered the final ball, it beat his own man. Now McAllister, can he reach it? Just Solarco's offside.
Well, that's the best bit of football we've seen from Coventry. Clever play from Solarco. Went past a couple of players, put the ball into the danger area. And really, Coventry had extra men over. Just didn't fall where they wanted it to fall.
And Gordon Strachan, who took over from Ron Atkinson in November and did a marvellous job keeping the club up, knows that his team have been second best all night. Coventry's 31st consecutive season this in the top division, a record battered only by Arsenal themselves, Liverpool and Everton. Vieira, right, and now Winterburn. It's good football from Arsenal. Overmars. Pulls it back for Winterburn, and Shaw just got there. Vieira! Well, that's gone so high and wide, it's gone in where the Coventry fans are standing.
Well, in this second half, Alan, we're seeing a different Overmars. I was slightly disappointed with his performance in the first half. Never really looked to go at the right back, Gary Breen. What he was doing, though, he was always bringing two players to him, as he did on this occasion. I think just the threat's always there, the fact that Overmars is in possession. But on this second half, he really is having a go at the fullback.
Free kick to Arsenal for the foul on Platt by Telfer. Coventry have actually had a pretty good record at Highbury in recent seasons, beaten just once here in their last 4 games, and they won on the opening day of the 93-94 season with a hat-trick by Mickey Quinn. But there doesn't seem to be very much hope for them tonight. Bergkamp right, lovely combination play. Oh, he just tried the clever little touch, and it didn't come off.
I think he tried a Dennis Bergkamp when he should have tried an Ian Wright. That was the wrong selection, I'm afraid. Once again, though, terrific play from these two, Bergkamp and Wright. They know exactly where one another are. Should have let fire with his left foot, tried a delicate little chip over Grizovic. Didn't quite perfect it.
Well, the awful thought for Coventry, 2-0 down, is that Arsenal have the best defensive record in the Premiership for the last 2 seasons. In fact, 3 of the last 4 seasons. Maybe all the personnel that helped to produce that record on in action tonight, but there still has not been a problem here for David Seaman. Salaka, Saltman, given away to Guard. And Coventry are about to introduce Kyle Lightbourne. Maybe unfamiliar to many of you, but he's had a longish career in the lower divisions of England. He's going to replace Darren Huckabee. Kyle Lightbourne, a £500,000 signing from Walsall, where he averaged, in fact, a goal every other game in his 4 seasons. He got 25 last season. He's actually a Bermudan international at football and cricket. Came on for the last 20 minutes against Chelsea on Saturday, and in fact was cautioned. Got loads of pace and obviously knows where the goal is. Certainly had been a frustrating night for Huckabee, Trevor. No great surprise, I think, that change.
No, there's a couple of occasions on the first half when he tried to look for it in behind the back four, but was caught offside. His pace, of course, is always a threat, but he certainly needed a more regular supply of service than he got in that first half. And I think the extra height of Lightbourne, obviously Strachan's going for that in the latter part of this game.
Saltbet wins a good challenge against Vieira, but Grimondi there to clean it up, and Bergkamp touches it on for Overmars. Telfer and Breen keep Arsenal at bay this time. Now Saltbet, the Norwegian international who's found the pace of this game a little too brisk. Lightbourne gets his first touch, and it's a losing tackle against Vieira. Now Bergkamp, Vieira thunders his way forward. Here's Ian Wright. Shaw made a better job of it this time.
Once again, great pass this from Dennis Bergkamp. Good run from Ian Wright. If his first touch had been better, he would have been in with the opportunity to get his hat-trick. The first touch is not quite good enough, and it gives Shaw the opportunity to get the tackle in.
Well, such is the man's ability. Whenever he gets the ball anywhere near the opposing penalty area, you think he's going to get a goal. Salako switched over to the right flank. Looks for Lightbourne in the middle. And he's kept it in, has he? Yes. But Arsenal get possession. Bergkamp with a great ball for Parler. Burrows defended well, but it's a corner. Superb pass by Dennis Bergkamp.
Well, undoubtedly tomorrow it's going to be Ian Wright who's going to take the headlines. But for me, Dennis Bergkamp has been outstanding. Everything he does, he's got quality written all over it.
And here he is again. Going to get straight back into the danger zone. Breen's clearance. Lightbourne angles it forward. Telfer is brought down by Vieira. Breen. Just kept in by Telfer, and he couldn't get the cross where he wanted it. Shaw. Now McAllister. Oh, dear, how about that challenge?
Well, surely that's got to be a booking, hasn't it, Alan?
Absolutely.
You know, same as the tackle from Shaw on right from behind. There's no difference there.
And indeed, Remy Gard is going to be yellow carded for that, quite rightly. In fact, his second successive yellow card. Caution at Leeds on Saturday. I think there was a suggestion that Saltvet was possibly going to come off anyway. He certainly is now.
What are you saying there? Gard is just making sure of it.
Well, let's have another look at the irrepressible, irresistible goal-scoring skill of Ian Wright. A pretty firm helping hand from an opponent, but still a lot of work to do here. Not when you're as calm as him. Scores goals for a living and for a hobby, and gets another.
You can see him looking up there, can't you? Looking to see where the goal is, looking to see what a Grisbit's going to do. One touch, the second touch is a familiar sight. The ball nested in the back of the net.
Willie Boland will take the place of Trond Egil Saltvet. Played the last 12 minutes against Chelsea on Saturday. Spends most of his Coventry career on the subs bench, and in fact he only got on once last season. So this is a big improvement, twice in 2 games. Only 22, and the Republic of Ireland international at under 21 level. Coventry need something, anything here, just to convince them they can get back into this game somehow. Telfer hits the shot. It was Ian Wright who made the challenge, and it was sufficient, I think, just to throw him off balance. And our hard-hearted statisticians are calling that Coventry's first goal attempt. Just the 15 for Arsenal. Salako. Burrows angles one forward. McAllister chasing with Grimondi. Well, McAllister wasn't going to let that go without a fight. And Grimondi goes crashing into, appropriately enough, an insurance advertising hoarding. I hope he is insured. It's no laughing matter for him at the moment. And Gary Lewin has one of those old-fashioned looks for the referee, wondering why he didn't take any action about that challenge. Maybe he's going to here. He's trotting away towards McAllister. He hasn't missed a thing, Keith Burge, tonight. But no yellow card. Grimondi off the pitch as play continues. Ron David-Seaman's made his mind up to take the kick. I think he's waiting to see if Grimondi can get on his feet again. The referee won't like that. Now Grimondi is on his feet, so he's right to wait.
There must be some physio to get him fit that quickly, Alan.
Yeah, I think he's the fittest physio, as well as one of the best in the game, Gary Lewin. Burrows with a header that only just reached Grisovic. Huge kick by the keeper, and an offside flag from the linesman that the referee acknowledges. Guard heading it on for Parler. Bergkamp well placed here. Good play by Solarco, but it's gone straight to Vieira. McAllister, Dublin's Leon. Here's Breen for Coventry. And that's wasteful. Let's remind you of the telephone number to make your choice of man of the match: 0891 111101, 0891 111101. Give us a call now, it's your decision. And we also have an extra incentive this season. The lucky name out of the hat, so to speak, will get a replica shirt of the player he chooses. Platt, Winterberg. Bergkamp making the run, followed by Shaw. And it's come off the Coventry man for a corner. And you feel another Arsenal goal might not be long from coming here. Oh, it almost did from that towering header by Grimondi, who got up higher than a lot of taller players in the box then.
But all evening, Coventry have found it difficult dealing with these corners. This time it's the central defender Grimondi. First half we saw on 2 occasions Marshall go close.
Well, Gordon Strachan is as fiery a character on the touchline as any manager you'll find, and he doesn't keep his feelings to himself. And there might be a few teacups flying around in 20 minutes or so. There might be a yellow card flying around here.
There's a little bit of petulance there from Telfer. Annoyed with the referee giving a free kick against him. Threw the ball down in frustration.
Third Coventry City player to be cautioned. Shaw and Williams the others. Decent free kick from David Seaman. It drops to Parler, and there was a hand used then, and the referee saw it. I think that was the offence that he's given the free kick for anyway.
I think it was a little push from McAllister on Parler.
That as well.
And this is Dennis Bergkamp area.
Yeah, I bet Ian Wright would love to take it, but I think he'll have to watch this one. And Grizovic will have to be on his toes. Bergkamp sizing up the shot like a golfer about to take an important swing. And he took a very impressive swing at that, and is claiming that Grizovic got a fingertip to it, but a goal kicked the verdict.
It was unbelievable power. And that's a corner.
Large video screens in the corners here at Highbury, and they replayed that incident, and it was quite clear that Steve Grizovic did indeed touch it, and it should indeed have been a corner, hence the boos from the Highbury fans.
And that was the save of the match. Absolutely brilliant save from Grizovic, because that was going in the back of the net. I think everybody expected Bergkamp to go for accuracy. He went for power.
Arsenal are going to make a change here, and Mark Overmars, who substituted late on at Leeds on Saturday, has the same fate. No reflection on him, but as I mentioned earlier, he's bedding in, settling down into the English game, and he's going to be replaced, as indeed he was at Leeds, by young Stephen Hughes, who had his longest ever run in the first team last season, played 16 of the last 19 games, and went on to become an England under-21 international. Williams happy to concede the throw because Bergkamp was lurking dangerously. Well, statistics don't lie. Not on this occasion anyway. And with less than a quarter of an hour to go, truthfully, the only real question in this match, can Ian Wright complete his hat-trick? And therefore, of course, equal the club scoring record. Three attempts, all on target, 2 goals. That'll do. Decent night's work. But maybe he ain't finished yet. If Arsenal get a penalty, I wonder who'll take it. There's a handball spotted by the referee. Arsenal's free kick. What's your reflection on Arsenal's performance tonight, Trevor?
Yeah, I've been very impressed, Alan. I think that trying to compare Arsenal from past years, I think the biggest difference is they've been searching for a player in midfield probably since the days of Liam Brady, somebody who can control the ball, can pass the ball well. I think last year, obviously Vieira was a big plus for them, but I think now they've got 2 excellent midfield players in Petit and Vieira.
As Platt tries to hang one up to right on the far post, didn't quite come off. The crowd liked his effort though.
And I think also when Adams, Keown, possibly Dixon come back into it, that will make them even more formidable at the back. There have been 1 or 2 scares tonight, but I don't think it's been a real test for them against this Coventry side. I've been very impressed with Arsenal.
Free kick has gone against Lightbourne, who protests his innocence. Let's remind you that tomorrow night we've got another big live game for you here on Sky. It's on Sky Sports 3, in fact. Programme beginning at 7:30. It's Queen's Park Rangers against Wolverhampton Wanderers in the first round, first leg of the Coca-Cola Cup. Coventry think it's their throw-in. They're wrong.
Well, I did as well, to be honest. I thought that that came off an Arsenal player.
And that certainly is their throw-in. Intelligently taken to Bergkamp. Unlucky.
Well, you could say that was poor defending, but look at the movement of Bergkamp. 2 defenders were watching him throw in just a little bit of movement. He pointed to where he wanted it, gets it onto his left foot. See the end result.
Arsenal even threatening from a simple throw-in. Parler battling away with Burrows and wins that battle. Vieira. Wright's layoff to Winterburn. Vieira almost found a way through. Williams blocked it. And Vieira wins it back off McAllister, but all credit to the Coventry skipper for going and getting it back himself. Now Breen. But Arsenal have it yet again. It's a strange incident. That referee was hoping Arsenal would get some advantage as he waved play on, and it looks as though they weren't, but they still have the ball. They have a free kick as well. Foul on Vieira. Lightbourne, the culprit.
Yeah, you were right there. The referee was absolutely desperate, wasn't he, to play the advantage rule. Good to see it, though.
Yeah, I think he's refereed very well tonight. Ian Wright seems to enjoy the close attention. Vieira thought about the shot. Now God. Arsenal forced to go wide again. Winterburn. Hughes, oh dear. The crowd just announced over 37,000 again, just slightly under the capacity here tonight, and it's going to be mighty difficult to get in to see Arsenal this season, especially if they continue in this vein. Rimondi. Salako wins it back, but Coventry really just haven't figured at all as an attacking force tonight. They've been buried under this red tide of Arsenal attacks. It's a good ball there from Wright, pull back towards Bergkamp. Oh dear. He's been so close so often tonight.
Well, you keep telling me, Alan, that he's 33. What age is Winterburn? Look at the run he makes here. Gets on the other side of Telfer. Pulls a great ball back to Bergkamp. That was great play once again from Arsenal.
Burrows angling it forward. Grimandi read the danger. Here's Guard on to Vieira. The French connection very much in evidence now. Wright peels away to his left. And now, boys. Fair to say he's enjoyed himself. Well, I suppose he might just enter your thoughts when you ring with your vote for man of the match. 0891 111101. 0891 111101. Give us a call now. Only 7 minutes of the game remaining.
I would think on the way that he started the season, he'll certainly be in Glenn Hoddle's thoughts as well, and for the forthcoming international. In the absence of Shearer, there's no better goal scorer in the Premiership than Ian Wright.
In fact, Shearer, the only man who did score more Premiership goals than Ian Wright last season. Hughes, Bergkamp, couldn't quite lay it off to Wright or Platt, and Coventry have a rare opportunity to show their mettle in the Arsenal half. Salako. Not a bad ball, that. Telfer on the far post. It comes back out to Willie Boland. And David Seaman, I think, has made his first real save of the night in the 84th minute.
Yes, it was good play from Salako, but the chance to Boland was rather presented to him by a poor clearance from Winterburn.
Breen. Dublin, well placed here. Good goalkeeping again. And what a mark it is of a good goalkeeper when you've had so much inactivity all night. Twice called upon in 30 seconds, twice reacted superbly.
Showed great anticipation there, didn't he, David Seaman? He must have come all of, what, 16 yards to gather that ball. And a timely interception, because Dion Dublin was certainly in with a goal-scoring opportunity.
The skipper tonight has kept his concentration in the long periods when he's watched and admired Arsenal's attacking play. Williams free kick over the head of Dion Dublin, and after the glory of his hat-trick on Saturday, not a lot's gone right for Dion Dublin tonight. Winterburn slices his clearance into the night sky, and Ian Rice is adjudged to have backed into Paul Williams. Bowler did well then to lose his man Platt, but not a very good ball. Not a very good night for the men from Highfield Road. Rowland under pressure. Williams came to help him out. Green. Telfer now. Good return ball. And on it goes to Lightbourne. In the middle is Solarco, but he's offside. Wouldn't have counted if he'd have got onto that one. Arsenal get on with it straight away. Parler. Hughes. Vieira. And on to Bergkamp. And all fizzled out rather disappointingly.
Well, the crowd a little bit unhappy there because they passed the ball backwards. The fact that they're winning 2-0 and they're going top of the league, not enough, Alan, for the Highbury faithful.
And a clean sheet as well. I'm sure that will please them as much as anything. It's defensive solidity that Arsenal's success down the years has been built on. Solarco now. Platt goes flying in. Solarco did well. Boland. Breen. Well, the match just tailing away. I wonder if Ian Wright can bring it to life in the last couple of minutes. Dublin offside. And the look on his face, I think, summed up what kind of night Coventry have had. Even their staunchest fans will have to admit they've been comprehensively outplayed tonight. Bergkamp holding off Shaw, who then tugged him down. Sure, Bergkamp's English has improved sufficiently to understand what Richard Shaw had to say to him then. Not very complimentary. Here's Remigard having a crack. Still waiting for his first Arsenal goal.
Well, he found himself in acres of space there. Nobody really comes to close him.
Burrows caught there by Parler. Coventry's free kick. Well, after tonight, the majority of these players will have an unexpected early season break. No Premiership matches on Saturday, not until the following Saturday, in fact. Although, of course, there are midweek games for a lot of clubs coming up. And not for these two. So it'll be interesting to see how they can recharge the batteries and get ready for the next instalment in what most of us expect to be one of the most exciting seasons for a long, long time. We've seen enough tonight to know that Arsenal are genuine contenders for the Championship. Coventry, well, it's been a disappointing night for them. They've never touch the heights they managed against Chelsea on Saturday. But I think a lot of teams are going to come to Highbury and be given a chasing the way they have tonight. Lightbourne chasing here. Grimonde took no risks. Sensible defending. Well, they tell you that you shouldn't bother with league tables until half a dozen games are completed, but the Highbury fans are nonetheless deliriously shouting, we are top of the league, and indeed for the moment they are. He is. That's it. Arsenal's first home match of the new season has been dominated by a man who seems to have been making the headlines in his 6 previous seasons here, the indomitable Ian Wright. 2 more goals for him. The club scoring record held by one of the all-time Highbury greats, Cliff Bastin, isn't going to last much longer. Ian Wright has already been on target 3 times this season. He was wonderful tonight. He gave the crowd excitement and entertainment, and 2 more goals to round off a very, very impressive Arsenal display, which really steamrolled at Coventry City from beginning to end. That was goal number 1. The predator in the penalty box. This was goal number 2. The coolest finish imaginable. In the spotlight again, Ian Wright. Arsenal's biggest hero has helped them to their first win of the season. The final score here at Highbury, Arsenal 2, Coventry City 0.
Still to come here tonight following the football at 10:30, it's the Sky Sports Centre, and at 11 o'clock, Water Sports World. Over on Sky Sports 3 at 10, LPGA Golf and the Du Maurier Classic, followed at 11 o'clock by our Football League review. Coming next, the highlights from Highbury tonight. Lots to talk about, and keep calling on the man of the match line. 0891 111101 is the number, and remember, a replica shirt available tonight.